Can you see me? Can you hear me?
I
Oh,
can-
hi.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
You have a beautiful smile.
Thank you. I'm looking at you. I'm like, you're a beautiful girl or woman.
Oh, girl. And you know what's funny? When I saw your plant wall background,
Mhm.
I was like, I think we're vibing on the same frequency.
We are. I should be downstairs by my freaking plant wall. That's what I should be.
Are you still in Puerto Rico?
Yeah, I live here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How is it there?
It's magical. I like island living. So it's slower. It's more grounded. It's friendlier. And then the weather is beautiful, of course. We just made it through hurricane season. We had one, which was hard, but it's just part of the process. Yeah, I love it here. It's great.
I definitely want to try visiting there. We had a hurricane season as well. We had Hurricane Ian because I'm in Florida.
Oh, you're in Florida. Yeah, Hurricane Ian hit harder than Hurricane Fiona hit us. Y'all had, well, we had more water than you guys, but you guys had more like houses getting damaged than we did.
Yeah. I'm more in like the inland area.
Okay.
I did it on purpose.
Yeah, smart.
Yeah. So we didn't get it that bad, but there was flooding on the street.
Yeah, that's scary.
So I'll just tell you a little bit about myself and then we'll go right into the interview. I mean, I'm pretty sure I kind of gave you a little jits in our Instagram chat. But my name is Legacy. I'm a birth coach and I teach moms how to give birth online, which is super cool. Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. I also gave birth on YouTube as well.
Love. Yeah.
Just like you, but we shared it on YouTube. So, but my most previous birth was an unassisted birth. So I gave birth.
Oh, wow. I love that. Wow. That's insane because I need some assistance, but that's beautiful that you were able to do that.
Yes. So I, just like you, my first one was at home with a midwife. So I have 4 babies.
Wow.
First 2, was at home with a midwife. And then once I was like,
I got this.
Yes. And I went into unassisted. And I'm from Canada originally and then moved. Yeah.
What part of Canada?
Toronto.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Love city girl.
Yeah. So I saw your birth video and it was like a breath of fresh air. I found it so inspiring, especially like seeing a reality star give birth at home. And oftentimes we don't get to see that side of birth. And I think that you do an amazing job at showing your audience and your platform how birth can be natural and beautiful and safe at home. So I loved that. So that's why I reached out to you.
Thank you so much.
So for those of you watching, Bayleigh is known from Big Brother Canada and her husband, Chris, known as Swaggy C. They met, they fell in love on Big Brother. Season 20, yes. And you guys also conceived on the show and sadly had a miscarriage. But everything just came full circle. It wasn't the end of your journey there.
No.
And you guys had your rainbow baby just in August 2022. So yes, welcome to Legacy Bayleigh.
Thank you. Wow. Yeah, we're happy to be here. It's beautiful.
So Bayleigh, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and why you decided to have a home birth for not just your first baby, but also your rainbow baby?
Yeah. Well, I'm just smiling because that was just so cute, the intro. But a little bit about me. I'm a wife. I'm a mom now. I'm 29. I live in Puerto Rico, born and raised in Missouri, was a flight attendant. So I've lived in like 7 or 8 states, just popping around. I don't know. It's like hard because it's like, yeah, I've been a reality star. Yes, I've been, a pageant queen. I was Miss Missouri USA, did Miss USA, but like, I don't think any of that like describes me. So I'll just let you guys get to know me. But the reason why I chose to have my birth at home was for a few reasons. People try to put fear on you a lot. Like a lot of people try to project fear on you And a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, you're not going to have your baby at the hospital. What if something happens? This and that. And they don't really understand that there's a lot more fear in hospital births for me than there is at home. I want it to be in my own space, and a space where I had the people around me that made me feel comfortable, the people around me that actually cared for me, and my environment was something that I can control. Because especially for Black women in the US, a lot of times when they go to hospitals, they don't feel like they've been heard, or like their care is actually like equal. So a lot of the times people have said that people have thought that their pain tolerance was higher, or that nurses haven't treated them the nicest. And for me, I just didn't want to risk any of that, especially because this was a miscarriage, baby after a miscarriage. I am already like emotional, and anybody that knows me, like I take things personal sometimes. So I'm like, I can't risk somebody that I don't know being in my birth process and ruining it for me.
Yes, I love that. I love that. I love how you talked about how sometimes a hospital birth is not always the best case scenario. And it came more of like home was more safe for you.
Yes.
I love that, because oftentimes, I mean, we all get into that mindset because we've been subconsciously consumed through the media to think of the hospital as a safe place. And although it can be
It
in
can
some,
be.
yeah, in some scenarios, but in some places it's also worst case scenario because it can lead to more intervention. And I love that you, even though it was your first baby, rainbow baby, you're like, what? I got this.
Yeah. And you know what? It's crazy because it's like I want to say this: hospitals are not necessary for birth.
Yeah.
That might upset people because they're like, oh no, it's not necessary. Your body can do it. People have done it for a long time. Hospitals are a desire for some people. And in some cases, if it's a high risk pregnancy, then you want to be at a hospital. And I understand that. But I'm like, no, I know what my body can do. I didn't have any complications during my pregnancy, and it was just like, I don't know. I just wanted to experience like all the goodness that I could experience without any interruption, any intervention, nobody telling me where to put my legs. Like I just wanted, I just wanted it to be my experience.
Yes. And
Mhm.
it definitely was.
It was.
It
It
was.
was.
So when it comes to natural birth, most people think of it as painful, and they quickly try to jump to maybe getting an epidural, which is also fine as well if that's something that they desire, or even other problems when you think of natural birth. But for you, if you were talking to a family member and they were about to give birth, and this was going to be the last time you spoke to them before they're about to give birth, what would you tell them? Like, do this thing. What would that be?
There's a few things. So the first thing I would tell them is to surrender to their surges. And I read Ina May's like guide to natural childbirth, and I like the word surges over contractions because contractions does sound painful. But when you just like realize that like your body is creating surges that match your energy, so it's not going to give you more than you can handle, and if you just surrender to that, it's not as much painful as it is just like a shocking experience. And then also I would literally just encourage them that like you know exactly what you need to do to get through this process, so just trust your intuition. And like that's just all I would say to them. I wouldn't be telling them, I wouldn't boss them around or tell them what to do and how I did it. I would just say surrender to your process, because that's all you can really do.
Yes, I love that. That's so, so perfect. And it's so, so true. Like, don't even look at the clock. Don't even look at the
No,
time. Just
no.
enjoy it.
Yes, just to surrender. And actually, I had my like god brother's wife had a baby right after me, and we had like this conversation right before she gave birth, and
Oh,
she did it in the hospital. And she was like, "I was about to get an epidural, and then I thought of you, and I just surrendered, and he came out like 10 minutes later." So she had a natural birth, and I was so happy. Like I was like, you don't have to, but I think it's beautiful that you tried and you surrendered to your surge. It was cute.
yes, yes.
Mhm.
So I still say the word contraction.
Yeah,
Um,
that's okay.
yeah.
I'm like, I like the word. I just didn't like it because
Mhm.
contractions hurt. And I didn't want it, I didn't want it to hurt in my head, if that makes sense.
Exactly. So
Mhm.
oftentimes I'll ask a client, what do you prefer? Do you want to say surge? Do you want to say wave? There's also
Mhm.
wave,
I
or
like wait.
yeah, or
Yeah.
contraction. I'm honestly okay with all of them,
Mhm.
only because my mindset is so evolved around contractions. So one of the things that I say is, I love my contractions. This
Yes.
and in my birth video, I say my contractions are my best friends because
Wow.
they're helping me, bringing me closer and closer to my baby.
And my baby. Yeah. I
Yeah.
love that.
Yeah. So, from what I learned, it takes a lot for someone to get their minds evolved around natural birth, the fears of birth. Like you had to probably unlearn, relearn throughout your pregnancy, nurture your mindset. You said you were reading as
Mhm.
well. So, when you were going past or getting close to getting to 41 weeks, because you gave birth just before 41 weeks, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So did you have to avoid any pitfalls or like to make sure your birth still went as planned or?
Actually, no. So I gave birth at 40 weeks and 3 days. And I am like, genuinely feel blessed because the midwives and doulas here are as natural as it gets. They haven't really changed to, modern medicine. They've given birth naturally at home. Their mothers have. It's just been like a thing. So they're like, you can go to 43 weeks. We don't care. Like they're like, it is what it is. I'm like, oh my God, I do not want to go to 43 weeks. And they're like, well, when you get to 41 or 42, we'll have a conversation and see how you feel. But no, this is normal. Like it just wasn't even a thing. So a lot of my friends were like, oh, like my doctor said if I hit 40 weeks, I need to be induced. And I was like, nobody gave me that option. It just wasn't on the table for me.
Amazing, amazing. And that means you were in the correct environment.
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Bayleigh, she designed her environment. She designed having a home birth. The team that she had was very natural, had a very natural approach. And so that's one of the reasons why you had a successful home birth, because you weren't in like a medical environment where once you got 40 weeks, you're on the clock, right?
Yeah. And the anxiety transfer. So like if somebody's like rushing you or making you feel like you hit 40 weeks is a bad thing, then you're gonna feel like it's a bad thing. And then your body's gonna react and it's gonna be like just kind of like a snowball effect. So nobody ever told me it was a bad thing. So I never felt like it was bad.
Yeah, because baby, you know is best when to be born.
Mhm.
Sometimes due dates are wrong.
Yeah, they're a guess for a reason. Nobody, and actually, most people I learned this are not even born on their due date. They're born, a little bit before, a little bit after. It's just a guess.
Guest day.
Yeah, a little guess day.
Yes. So first time mom, 17 hours of labor.
Yeah.
Beautiful. What would you say was the toughest part and what would you say was the easiest part?
Yeah. Okay, so I'll start with the toughest part. The toughest part was the heat flashes. So I have read in books like people are like sometimes I throw up or sometimes I have like diarrhea. Like there's those things that you read, but I don't think it ever connected to me that they could be happening like in waves. So it was like I felt kind of like during my contractions, I would get really hot and then immediately I would be really cold. So that up and down of like temperature fluctuating kind of made me sick. So like there was some times where I would like throw up and sometimes where I would like go use the bathroom. And I just wasn't like it's crazy because I'm like everybody was excited about it. Like the midwives were like, this is a good thing. That means she's coming. And I'm like, what? Like this is so weird. But I didn't really prepare for that. Like I was like, I'm not gonna throw up, but I definitely did. And then the best part was pushing. And I kind of like manifested that pushing would be the best part for me. But after all that hard work of 17 hours, pushing is your reward. So I'm so happy. I was so happy when I felt her come down and I had to push. And I was like, she's coming out. And then finally, like once her head crowns and her body is out, it's just like such a relief. Like it just feels so good. So yeah, weird, but it does.
Yes, yes. So pushing was your favorite part, and then the
Yes.
hot flashes.
Was
Okay.
my least favorite part.
Yes. Did you see Swaggy when he had his hands down? He's like, I'm ready
Yeah.
for this.
Yeah. He was so excited. And it's so funny because Swaggy hates getting his hands dirty. That's like his number one pet peeve. Like even when we're like out eating, like he just hates getting his hands dirty. But for this, he was like, I don't care if my hands are dirty, babe. I want to get in there. I was like, okay.
Love that. I love that. If you guys do have another baby, I would love to work with you. And this is not me plugging myself. When I was watching your birth, I'm like, I'm going to take her to the next level.
Me, I'm like, I can't even wrap my mind around another birth right now, but definitely when I wrap my mind around it, I will call you.
Yes.
Mhm.
So one of the things is reversing the psychology of pain.
Mhm.
So pain is not created in the body. It's actually created
Yes.
in the mind.
Yes.
So when you feel your contractions, how you think about it is how you will feel it. So
Mhm.
oftentimes I'll say like, this feels so good. Orgasms come in waves.
Mhm.
Contractions come in waves as well.
Mhm.
So when you have an orgasm, you also release oxytocin.
Mhm.
With oxytocin is a hormone that's released during your contractions as well. It's a feel-good hormone.
Yes.
So if you think of your contractions, I'm kneeling in because I feel like I'm talking to my sister. I'm like, let me just get rid of this before.
Mhm.
I know, because after your birth video, you're like, I'm not doing that again. And that's exactly how I felt after
Yes.
my first birth. But then once I learned these techniques, like
You're like, it's fine. And you
literally,
know what I read before, like some women have like pleasure during, labor because they look at like it's the same as like an orgasm. And I was like praying. I was like, okay, Lord, make it feel good. Cause I would love that. But it was hard. It was hard, and I'm like, I wouldn't take it back, but I really wish like I knew how to like make it feel like what you're talking about. Cause I don't know, girl.
don't worry, I'll get you there. I'll get you
Yeah,
there.
I'm like, oh.
I've had a mom who was like, when I first got on call with her, she was like epidurals, C-sections,
Ooh.
and then my birth with me, painless. She was like, yes. While she was
What?
having yes.
What? Yeah,
Mhm.
that's beautiful. That's insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's insane. I'm like, wow.
Yes. So, my last question for you. Now, this is obviously hypothetically in the future. If Alora was to give birth and she wanted to give birth just like mommy again, like just like a mommy did natural at home, what would be your words of wisdom to her?
Um, Me, it's emotional. This is emotional thinking about that. Um, I would literally just tell her that she has the absolute right to make this process everything that she dreamed of it. There's nobody's opinions that's more important than hers, including my own. Um, I would literally deck it out for her. I would be like, let's get your water right. She would have roses. She would have affirmations play, like whatever the girl wanted, she could have. And I would literally just say, I did it. Your ancestors before you have done it, and your body is completely equipped to do exactly what's about to happen. And then I would let it happen. I'd be so happy for her. That would be so cute.
I love that. I love that. You gave me chills when you're chills. I love that. It was so beautiful. And she has such a beautiful and inspiring mommy to look up to. And what you and Swaggy are doing is absolutely phenomenal. The way that you guys share your love and your Black love as well, your positivity. And it's honestly phenomenal. Keep doing what you're doing. I'm happy to have met you. And you're just your natural ray of sunshine.
Thank you. I'm Mia. My cheeks actually genuinely hurt from smiling this whole time. But I'm so happy that you asked me to come and interview just because this is not talked about enough. You're doing a great work with what you're doing, and you're changing a lot of, women's experiences, which is huge. Like, I wish I would have known about you before this happened, but it's beautiful that we have aligned and met now.
Mm-hmm. We have, yeah.
Mhm.
Alrighty. Thank you so much, Bayleigh, for being here on Legacy Birth. Where can everybody find you?
Everyone, I am literally everywhere. I am on YouTube as Bayleigh Daily. I'm on Instagram as Bayday, and I'm on TikTok as Bayday.
Yes, yes. And then you guys also have your husband has a podcast.
Oh, there's a lot. We have Swaley Gang YouTube channel, which is our joint channel. And then my husband has Swaggy CTV on all platforms. So there's lots of Swaley content if you want to tune in.
Yes, yes, yes. I definitely recommend her, Queens, and she's beautiful, beautiful energy, beautiful family. So definitely go check her out.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Bayleigh.
You're welcome.